Hello, 5th and 6th grade. This is your history video for Tuesday, January 26th. You have two pages that you're going to be doing as far as your work text. One is on page 141, which talks about the two different groups and elections in the government that controlled Rome, especially in the early times. And then on the back is a study guide, and you have some questions there. Like number one, it says, how do the geographic features of Italy contribute to the development of its civilizations? And if you go back to page 186, if you didn't get this to begin with, it talks about I'm looking for it here, I found it. The rivers, the Tiber River, and that's where the civilization grew from. But the rivers, the hills, as far as for protection, especially around Rome, that was one of the things. It says, what motivated the Latins to settle in the Italian peninsula? And that was the they were searching for fertile soil and a climate suitable for farming. And that is there again on page 186. And what contributions the Etruscans make to the Roman way of life. And I think that was on page number 188. And let's see, the Etruscans, yes. The top there it says, they inhabited the Phoenicians and the Greeks were known for the sea trade and colonization. The Latins had been living in Rome for over 100 years. When the Etruscans came from the north and conquered it. It says, during the powerful Etruscan kings, Rome became the strongest and most respected city in the region. And so they brought respect to the country. They introduced a writing system based on the Greek alphabet as well. And that would be the major contributions, as well as, it says they made improvements to the city by paving roads, building arches, draining marshes, and constructing a sewage system. Okay. And so those things would be what they did. And then you talk about the Roman social classes, Rome's early form of governments, and so on. All right, so there's only two pages to read today, and that is pages 189 and 190. And so we'll go ahead and get started on that. So 189, it says, Roman Republic from 509 to 531 BC. Now that should, to 31 BC, basically. So it's basically until right before the time of Christ. The Etruscan kings ruled Rome for over a century. During that time, the Latin people did not like the policies and hard tactics of the kings. In 509 BC, the people grew powerful enough to drive the king and the Etruscans from the city. In place of the monarchy, the Latins established a new form of government called a republic. The word republic comes from the Latin phrase res publica, which means a public thing. In a republic, citizens can vote and control the power of government through officials they elect. The Latins, now called Romans, believed that the republic would best protect the interests of the people. A new government. A newly established Roman republic was divided into three governing branches: the consuls, the senate, and the assemblies. Two patricians were elected as consuls in place of a king. It was their responsibility to manage the affairs of the government, command the Roman army, and serve as supreme judges. Their terms lasted for 1 year. Both men had equal authority. The Senate was the most powerful branch. All of its 300 members were patricians. Senators served for life. The Senate controlled the finances, passed laws, and oversaw foreign affairs. Several groups called assemblies existed in the early republic. The most powerful group was made up of patricians, and it was called the Assembly of Centuries. It voted on new laws, made declarations of war, and elected the consuls. The struggle. The consuls, the Senate, and the Assembly of Centuries were made up only of patricians. The plebeians did not have the privilege of voting. They had a few social privileges and were not allowed to hold a public office. Marriage was forbidden between patricians and plebeians. Over time, more and more Romans became dissatisfied with the inequality between the two groups. For over 200 years, the plebeians struggled to gain political and social equality. Plebeians served as soldiers in the army, and Rome was constantly waging war against its neighbors. Since the plebeians shared in the dangers of fighting, they wanted to be represented in the government. Many threatened to leave the army. The patricians gradually began to concede or grant the plebeians' right. And so we'll make concede the secret word. Then on the next page, it talks about the concessions. All right. It says the plebeians were finally allowed to have their own assembly. It was known as the tribal assembly. Its members elected 10 leaders called tribunes. The tribunes protected the rights and the interests of the common people. At the time, Roman laws were mostly ancient customs that were not written. The patricians often took advantage of the plebeians, who were not familiar with the details of the law. Without written laws, it was difficult to win court battles. Eventually, the plebeians pressured the Senate to write down the law. Around 450 BC, the Roman law was engraved on 12 bronze tablets. These tablets were called the Law of the 12 Tables. These laws became the foundation of Roman civil law. The tablets were displayed in the Roman Forum, a public meeting place. The law could be understood by all and applied equally to all. The plebeians were also given veto power. The word veto means I forbid. Tribunes stood in the Senate doorway during its meetings. The tribunes could stop the Senate's action at any time by shouting veto. Gradually, the plebeians gained more rights. They were allowed to marry patricians. They could be elected as consuls. At last, the tribal assembly was permitted to make laws that were as official as those the Senate made. The plebeians and the patricians had equal say in the government of Rome. The republic worked well for several hundred years. Most people in Rome worked hard and respected the law. The majority of lawmakers wanted to help and protect the citizens of Rome. All right, so that's your reading history for today, and hopefully you got that secret word. If not, you'll have to go back and listen to the video. It was very clear, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.